Welcome! Another nail video, another rainy day in the UK. I think I'm also wearing the same t-shirt, but it isn't the same day, I promise. And today is the face-off between Sassy Saints and Lavender Violets. Who will win? But I thought we'd mix it up a bit and see if a cheaper brand compares to Sassy Saints. So the colours we have are Bubblegum Bombshell from Sassy Saints and Folkestone Grey from Lavender Violets. I will be using the Sassy Saints liquid with the Sassy Saints powder and the Lavender Violets liquid with the Lavender Violets powder. And at the end of this video, there'll be a 1 week, 2 week update depending on how they last, so you can see the results of the wear test. So this is the Sassy Saints kit that I bought, and this is the Lavender Violets. Links for both are down below in the description. And on first impressions, for absolute beginners, I would definitely choose the Sassy Saints because it includes things you don't get with the Lavender Violets. And even in the Lavender Violets instructions, it says nothing about brushing off the excess dip powder after you've dipped and tapped. And it might seem like a small thing, but if you're a total beginner and you don't know what you're doing, little things like that count. But if this isn't your first rodeo and you're just experimenting with colours, go for it. I've actually just placed an order with Temu for some cheap powders just to have a play to see how that works. But today, Lavender Violets, Sassy Saints. It's also worth noting that I have prepared my nails using the Sassy Saints system. I've used their Prime It to dehydrate all of my nails first, and I am also going to be doing 4 dips of colour on each nail. In the Lavender Violets instructions it tells you to only do 2. I was going to split the difference and do 3 on each nail, but I thought no, keep it safe, keep it simple. Try and do a good experiment. And as if by magic, the pink is done. Now there is something I would like to ask you, dear viewers. Despite the fact that the Sassy Saints instructions tells you to dip your finger in nail upwards at a 45-degree angle, I cannot seem to help myself but want to put my finger in the pot nail down. So I'm wondering if other people have a preference and why they have a preference. It just seems to be the natural way that I go to do it. And I did notice that's what I was doing, so I've tried doing it nail up. And I think the powder does seem to go on a little more evenly when you do it nail up. But I also seem to make more of a mess because I'm displacing more of the powder in the pot. The Lavender Violets pots are slightly bigger actually than the Sassy Saints ones, so that sort of helps with that method. But if I'm being completely honest, I think in the future I might try pouring on the powder as opposed to dipping it all. I'm a bit of a fussy bugger and I think pouring it on might be better for me to deal with. But just wondered, what's your preference? I did not find any difference in the usage, consistency or the quality of the powders or the liquids at all, so I'd say we're even up to now. So we are 4 dips in. I was going to use just 1 activator on all of them, but I've read the back of both bottles and the ingredients aren't exactly the same. I would imagine that sticking to just Lavender Violets liquids or just Sassy Saints liquids would be fine, and you could mix the powders, but they are different ingredients, so keep it fair. I have gone a little bit messier near the cuticles this time. Maybe I was feeling a bit overconfident, but not too bad. So we'll get these filed, and I have upgraded my filing game. I bought one of these. It's like a little dust extractor because the dust was driving me crazy last time. So I'll pop that on and file away. So, dip powder manicure number 2 completed. Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. Definitely still some problems. Around the cuticle areas. Or are we in focus? I got a little bit messy around the cuticle areas this time. So that's something to improve upon on attempt number 3. What should we do for number 3? I'll have to come up with some ideas. So what I'm going to do now over the next 1 to 2 weeks, take some pictures, take some video, and let you know how we get on. So I'll hop in my time machine and see you in a moment. So it is just over 2 weeks later. I have naked nails. I did a different removal method on each hand because I'm preparing a video on all the different ways I can come up with to remove the stuff. So subscribe if you don't want to miss out on that. And in the face-off between Lavender Violets and Sassy Saints, we definitely have a winner. But I have some opinions on why buying the loser might actually be better. And I have also ordered a starter kit from a company called Manicure. It seems to be the latest one that's doing the rounds on my Facebook feed. And although they're not a UK-based company, they have a UK distribution centre. And I know from all the groups that I'm in and what I've experienced personally, Sassy Saints takes its time to arrive. So I ordered that kit yesterday, so we'll see when that one turns up. So, on to the face-off. So the cost, you probably already know where this is going. Lavender Violets is cheaper. The Sassy Saints kit is currently £69. They always seem to have an offer on, but you can get an extra £10 off if you use my code below. But it is basically £69. And the Lavender Violets kit that I bought was £26. Now on Amazon there are quite a few different styles of kits that you can buy with different bits and pieces in. Some have bigger pots of powder, some have different accessories, but they are all around the £22 to £27 mark. Now I'm not going to get into the teeny tiny maths about it, but also the Sassy Saints bottles, oh, I can't see, where did it say? I'm sure it said 10 millilitres in the Sassy Saints, and the Lavender Violets is 14 millilitres, and the same goes with the powders. Now, interestingly enough, I know the Sassy Saints pots used to be bigger, and nowhere can I find on their website, unless I'm going blind, or on the actual pot itself, how much is actually in here, and I cannot be bothered to weigh it, but I'm going to presume it's between 10 and 14 grams. And the Lavender Violets ones you can see is bigger, and this does actually tell you the Lavender Violets one is 14 grams, so this has got to be less actually. This might even be under 10, I don't know. It doesn't say, but that is something to factor into the cost. So Lavender Violets definitely wins the cost, hands down. Quality items we've got to give to Sassy Saints, but then you are paying more. Everything looks a little bit nicer, feels a little bit more expensive. The kit that comes with it is, where's my cuticle pusher? You've got a nice gold cuticle pusher with Sassy Saints' branding on it. Does this work better than, I haven't got my other one here, my cheapo silver one that I've had for a million years? No, it doesn't work any better than it, but you know, some people do like their things to look pretty. Also, which I think I mentioned earlier, the Sassy Saints kit gives you stuff that you just don't get with the Lavender Violets. Nail prep, dehydrator, cuticle oil, and the brush, which I definitely mentioned earlier. Although I did find a Lavender Violets kit on Amazon that did include a brush, but considering the instructions I got with my Lavender Violets kit didn't say anything about brushing, which annoyed me a little bit, I can't see that there's going to be different instructions in that kit. So for me, Sassy Saints wins the quality of items, basically for providing a better starting kit. Application. Now this is personal preference, obviously. I'll just get my bottles out again. I find the Lavender Violets bottle nicer to hold. It seems to fit in my hand better, you know, when I'm painting. Also, the handle, I don't know, the brush, whatever you want to call it, the bit that you're holding in your hand, I find this just feels nicer. You know, this one's a bit smaller, depends on your hand size at the end of the day, but this just feels nicer to hold for me when I'm using it. This not so much. I also found, actually, let me unscrew both of these. I've only got the clean it ones out, so I can't make too much of a mess. It's only quite subtle, but I find the Lavender Violets brush just a tiny bit bigger and seems to go on a little bit smoother for some reason, and holding them next to each other, they don't look any different. So actually, maybe that's the liquid that I prefer using, the Lavender Violets liquid. I don't know, but when I was using the Lavender Violets, I thought the brush was bigger. It just seemed to apply nicer. But now looking at them close up, maybe that's the liquids that I prefer. The powders themselves, again, as I just mentioned, the pot sizes are not the same. You know, the bigger pot is easier to get your nail in. It does depend how long your nails are at the end of the day. I mean, I've only got little short nails, but I still found it easier to use the bigger pot. So application for me goes to Lavender Violets. Now the finish, this one's going to go to Sassy Saints, I'm afraid, which does even things up. I haven't orchestrated this, I promise. I did some swatches when I first got the powders. Now, the Lavender Violets powders, I find, and this could be the colours that I chose, it could be because it's a cheaper product, the powders that you get aren't milled quite as finely. It could be that because it's a cheaper product, you can't guarantee the quality of what you get, so their quality control levels are low, and maybe I got some powders that weren't that great. Maybe you could order the same colour in Lavender Violets and it might be a better quality, and that's where the, you know, the cheaper pricing comes in. But if I show you the Lavender Violets products, to me look more grainy, look a little cloudy, a little bit grainy. It's not like a pure colour. Whereas if you put these, sorry, I'm clinking and clanking here, in direct contrast to, remove the glitters, we don't need them, the Sassy Saints ones, these just sort of pop. And maybe is that a top coat thing? No, because it is actually the powder that looks grainy. So let's put them next to each other. Oh, there we are, Sassy Saints, Lavender Violets. Okay, so these colours are quite similar. Let's try and get that. Is it better on my hand? Yeah, that's better. So you can see the Sassy Saints one. And it just, for me, it just pops of grey more, and the top coat is shinier in my opinion. And I don't, it's not going to come through on the camera, I shouldn't think. Maybe I'll put a picture here. And these both have the same amount of dips and everything. I did them all the same. So for the powder quality and the top coat, I have to give that to Sassy Saints. which does make the official score even at the moment, but possibly the most important category is the wear test. And straight into the pink that belongs to Sassy Saints, and you can see some cracks, which is exactly what happened last time when I did the Sassy Saints colour. I probably got an extra 3 or 4 days out of the Sassy Saints this time. I think my technique had improved a little bit, and I capped the ends this time, so they definitely lasted better. But on basically all of my pink Sassy Saints nails, they all started to crack, and unfortunately a couple of those cracks did turn into chips. And so to the Lavender Violets wear test. And what can I say? There is not one chip, not one crack anywhere on any of the nails. Apart from some slightly dodgy cuticle line work from me, which definitely needs improvement, there is nothing. And I really looked, I really did. There was not one tiny little hairline crack on any of the nails. And I applied all of this on my own at the same time. You've seen the video earlier on, and despite my lack of professional skill, you know, and yet there is very clearly still a winner on this wear test, Lavender Violets by a country mile, as they would say. So based on my criteria, Lavender Violets is clearly the winner. For now. Because the caveat to this is we all have different nails and we all have different nail chemistry. And I've never had an issue with lifting, and yet I see people on the internet have their nails pinging off all the time. So there's clearly something else going off there. And you can use different powders with different liquids. I think as long as you stick to the same group of liquids, so Sassy Saints liquids, base coat, top coat, activator, as long as you stay within that same group, I think you're fine. I bought and swatched some cheap powders off Temu, I never know what to call it, in some gorgeous pastel shades. I put a post on my community tab of the swatches that I did, and they're gorgeous. This is a brand called Gnosis, and I love these, and these do not have that graininess that I was talking about with the Lavender Violets. And I think actually I think I used, you know what, I can't remember. I was going to say I used the Lavender Violets liquids on these, but I genuinely can't remember. But the powders look really cool. But when you're not paying a lot for something, it doesn't matter if you have a bit of a mess about, does it? And I also bought, and I've not had time to do any swatches or anything yet, I bought some powders. I'll show you a picture from their website, from Dipped, which are a UK-based company. I think they are nail techs that started their own company. I might be wrong. And these are 15-gram pots as well. And these are jelly colours. And if you look on the picture that I'll add when I edit this, building up the different amounts of dip layers makes it look different. And I'm really excited because I've got some funky ideas about doing some French tips on them or something. So that's definitely going to be my next project. And there's also other starter kits that I haven't even looked at. Glowdip is another big company. Their powders look really nice and really bright, engaging colours. So I would be interested in trying those. If there's any other companies you want me to have a go at, put it in the comments and I'm more than happy to try their stuff out. This seems to be my latest hobby that I'm involving myself in, so you know, let's have a go. But I have to say for sure, if you are a 100% total beginner, I would definitely advise still buying a proper set, a slightly more expensive set, Sassy Saints is the only one that I've personally tried. I would imagine that the Glowdip one is equally as good. I think it's a similar price because you just get more support, customer service, better tutorials. I mean, the Sassy Saints tutorials are so good. I would really advise getting a proper starter kit to get you going if you've never done this before. But if you have done it before, or you're happy to just follow YouTube tutorials, then Lavender Violets can clearly save you a lot of money. The only thing that I'm genuinely unhappy about with the Lavender Violet stuff that I got was the finish, the graininess of the powder. The colour didn't pop, and I don't like that. So more experimenting, more fun to be had in the world of dip nails. What adventure will we go on next? Let me know in the comments where you'd like me to go with this. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Bye.